Good morning, good morning, good morning, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Spilling Tea. I'm your host, Tiffany Daniels. We're going back to that horrible world known as the JRC. But before we do the usual commentary and then the disclaimers. So, the media, they're salty. They're salty this morning. The sales for Savage, Brianna's brand, has gone through the roof, since she featured JD as a part of her show. And these people, they're salty. Was it worth it? Da-da-da-da-da-da-da. I'm sorry, folks. Rihanna can't hear you right now over the sound of ka-ching. Please leave a message. See, folks, you can't buy this media bullshit. There haven't been real journalists in quite some time. Matter of fact, if you want to compare real journalism and investigation as opposed to the garbage bullshit they're putting out these days, read that MDR report that's linked in Autistic Hoya's massive archive. They did an actual non-biased investigation where facts, not opinion, was featured. Media, I don't care about your opinion. I'm Gen X. I'm part of the generation that came against you because of your PC bullshit that you tried to push on us back in the 90s. You remember that, right? You think all of a sudden, after all these years, I'm just going to start buying into your byline? You're smoking some crack. You're smoking some crack. You all keep on telling us, you need to move on. I'm fucking trying to. But you all won't let me. I am trying to focus on real horrific things that are going on in our own backyard that you continue to ignore. Real abuse happening in real time, and yet all you seem to care about is this one blonde, neurotypical, psychotic bitch. I don't see you throwing up near the fuss about the girls at Circle of Hope. I don't see you throwing a fuss about what happened to Jennifer Masamba, and don't fucking tell me you don't know. We've been tagging your asses year after year after year, ever since 2012. And you still would rather back this liar than back real survivors and real people who are still being abused and their human rights systematically stripped from them every single day. There's real news out there. Is real good that you can actually be doing. But instead, you would rather spend your time throwing your opinion pieces all over the place and trying to say, but why won't you believe us? You are the same bastards who said, well, maybe they need to be shocked. They're out of control. So if you think I'm going to trust you for 2 seconds after the way you have betrayed and done nothing, absolutely squat for real victims, you can kiss my ass. All right? Kiss my ass. Just saying. They've only gotten worse since the 90s, folks. They've only gotten worse. These people aren't real journalists anymore. They're not doing real journalism or investigative reporting. They are toting opinion pieces and trying to pass them off as fact. It's ridiculous. The news is a joke, okay? It's not the news anymore. It's here is my unwanted, unasked for, and unresearched opinion. Just saying. It's a sad state. This is coming from me, a girl stuck in the hellscape that is known as Missouri, whose governor just got full control of the National Guard. Yeah. I don't want to hear your bullshit. Okay? This is a media that failed to bring up front and motherfucking center during the Senate race what was happening at Agape boarding school and the fact that Attorney General, now Senator Schmidt, was failing us all over the place. Just saying. All right, now for the disclaimers. In the description box, folks, you're going to find a link to the article that the Judge Rotenberg Educational Center doesn't want you to read. It is written by NeuroClastic, a small non-for-profit started by autistics for autistics, wherein they interviewed and surveyed over 900 ABA professionals for the JRC's quote-unquote behavior modification program. Matter of fact, the JRC doesn't want you to read this article so much they have threatened NeuroClastic with a defamation lawsuit if they did not remove it from the website. NeuroClastic has refused, so you know the drill. Please read that article and share on all your social media. We also have the link to NeuroClastic's public statement in regards to the defamation lawsuit threat, as well as a link to their GoFundMe. We are crowdfunding, folks, in case the JRC has the balls to see through with their threat. We got the other pertinent links, speaking of, in regards to the Agape boarding school situation as well. Agape boarding school is a Christian-themed boarding school based out of Stockton, Missouri that takes in so-called troubled male teens that has, and pending, over 21 substantiated, hear me media, substantiated by facts and non-biased investigations done by the Missouri Department of Social Services, including civil lawsuits, let's not forget that. That include sodomy, rape and sexual assault, child abuse, child trafficking, and starvation, just to name a few. We have one former staff member arrested by the FBI, another, a doctor who still lives on the premises with full access to the boys, who is up on multiple, again, substantiated. Hear this word, you morons. Substantiated. You know what that means? It means proven. Okay? Just in case you idiots in the back can't seem to figure it out. Multiple counts of sodomy, rape, and sexual assault of the boys there. You have someone who just left the Attorney General's office, Eric Schmidt, who failed all over the place and lied to the boys who are survivors fighting Agape right now. So please share those articles all over the place. Don't forget to sign and share the change.org Shut Agape Boarding School Down petition. We also got the pertinent links to the Stop the Shocks campaign as well. Remember, Democrats, I'm coming after your asses too. You're the ones who continue to allow the JRC to exist in one of the more progressive states in the U.S., who's committing, like, literally almost what would be considered war crimes. And every single day, those people. This includes Hoya's massive archive on the subject, Jennifer Masumba's behavioral sheet to give the lie to Matthew Israel's bullshit that they're only shocked over extreme behavior. That's a lie. They'll get shocked if they look the wrong way. If they breathe in a way the JRC doesn't approve of. If they roll their eyes or dig their underwear out of their ass, they get shocked. Okay? We also have the clips A small part of the 7-hour ordeal undergone by Andre McCollins, the templates, and the ever-present self-explanatory change.org shut the Judge Rotenberg Center down petition. When we discuss the JRC, folks, you're going to hear vivid descriptions of and catch clips of surveillance footage of people with disabilities being tortured and abused. If you got young children present, please use your headphones. This channel is marked not for children for a reason. We use profanity and we talk about dark subjects. If your child is 16 and under and they are watching this channel, parental supervision is advised. All right, it is 4 a.m. in the morning, folks. Merry stupid o'clock, right? No, I have not had my second dose of caffeine yet, so if I stumble over my words, apologies in advance, all right? All right, let's get to it. JRC is a residential and day educational and treatment program in Canton, Massachusetts that was started in 1971 by Dr. Israel, a student of B.F. Skinner, the founder of the modern behavioral psychology. Let's talk about that for a minute. B.F. Skinner, the same dude who taught the student that tells you, when you got a person with autism, you don't actually have a human being. You have the makings of a human being. They have eyes, ears, nose, mouth, hands, but they're not a real person. So we have to rebuild them into a person. That guy is the guy you're appealing to for authority. B.F. Skinner, who was known to torture rats, known to torture animals. And this is the guy you want to use as a flex to convince people. Good luck. Certainly, JRC staff, approximately 1,000 employees, serves 215 special needs children and adults who have a variety of psychiatric diagnosis and educational labels, including developmentally disabled, emotionally disturbed, and conduct disordered. And this is what baffles my mind. You have people with a myriad of different disabilities and mental health issues, and you give them all the same treatment. This is not how medical science works. You cannot give the same treatment for completely different diagnoses and expect it to work. The JSC will tell you it works because they're no longer having the behaviors, because you are literally ruling them through fear. And we all know that ruling someone through fear never works long term. Never works long term. The underlying issues remain there and remain undealt with. So when that fear is removed, when the threat is removed, what happens? Not only do the behaviors come back, but they come back worse than they ever were before, because now on top of those issues and the triggering issues that were never dealt with, now you have severe psychological issues to put on top of it. Now you've got PTSD, you've got self-loathing, you've got clinical depression, you've got suicidal tendencies over kids who originally just came in for behaviors. Sounds like success to me. Right. You can't go cookie cutter on disabilities, folks. It is not a one-size-fits-all. Each of these disabilities should have a catered treatment program to that specific individual and their disability, bar none, period. Period. We are in 2022. This was back in 2010. Even back then, this was a joke. Nowadays, with all the treatment programs, medication, and all the other options that are out there now, this is ridiculous. You can't cookie cutter medical treatment for different diagnoses. But it works, it does. See? Yeah, I don't call catatonia or doing just enough to make sure I don't get tortured a success, doctor, so sue me. No, truly do. I love to wipe the floor with your ass. You can't even cookie cutter people under the same diagnosis, let alone people with completely different diagnoses. This is why a lot of autism treatment is a joke these days, because they do try to cookie cutter it. And it doesn't help. Moving on. All of the students at least had one thing in common. They suffer from severe behavioral disorders that could be effectively treated by previous treatment programs in psychiatric hospitals that have been prior to coming to the JRC. Oh my fucking God. The developmentally disabled do not have, hear me, these are not behavioral disorders. These are not mental illnesses. They are neurodevelopmental. It's our brains. Why in 2022 can people not see that? These are mind disabilities, not behavioral. The behaviors are a side effect. They're not up front and center. They are a byproduct. Treating a neurological disorder or disability, whatever terminology you would like to use, except differently abled, for the love of God. Any way you want to slice it, you see where I'm going here, right? These are not psychiatric disorders. Okay? That's why behavioral psychology will never work as a treatment for autism or ADHD or many of the other neurodiverse diagnoses out there, because they're not mental health disorders. They're mind disorders or disabilities. These are byproducts. They're not. I can't deal with people. It is batshit insane to treat a developmental disability with behavioral psychology. It doesn't work. Do we have psychiatric issues? Of course we do. We live in a world not built with us, with a medical model that is designed basically to traumatize us. We have a medical model sitting there trying to force us into being neurotypical. Of course we're traumatized. Of course we have mental health issues. We didn't start out that way, though. These issues are not caused by autism. They are caused by the goddamn morons like the JRC and the ABAers that are still trying to force us square pegs into a round hole. Okay? Ugh. The students attend JRC school in Canton and live in 33 residences in nearby communities, which the JRC staffs and operates. So there's a lot of bad in this paragraph. Let's not even put in the torture for a minute. I know that's difficult to do, but we're going to set it aside for a minute. One of the worst things you can do in treatment, one of the worst things you can do, is use the cookie cutter approach. The one size fits all. When you treat all disabilities and mental health issues the same. Why doesn't it work, you may ask me? Because cookie cutter treatment cannot work. Each diagnosis is different and unique to the individual who has it. Not a single person, even with the same diagnosis, is affected in the same way. Some issues may be more prevalent than others. I'll use myself for an example. Background noise doesn't bother me. In fact, a lot of times background noise is often necessary as a means of calm for myself. There are other autistics out there who can't focus when they have background noise going on and they're trying to talk to somebody. You know what I mean? If they're watching something and there's background noise going on while I'm talking, it's sensory overload. I do not have that issue. I do have other issues. I can't handle illogical bullshit, obviously. Obviously, you can tell that, right? My sensory issues revolve around food. I can't even be around the smell of milk chocolate cooking or I will hurl. That's literal. That's as literal as I can put it. I will hurl. Being surrounded by a bright color of yellow can literally cause me physical pain. Actually cause physical pain. I can't wear wool because I am so sensory sensitive to that I will bust out in hives and it will stay there for weeks. I can't eat certain foods. You see where I'm going here. And that's just for starters. You can't cookie cutter treatment. The fact that they use the same treatment for every single behavioral diagnoses, God, these people are on crack. We knew in 2010 that you cannot provide the same treatment for completely different diagnoses. Because they're different diagnoses. It was already cookie cutter. This shit's insane. Okay? Parents, don't send your kids to this place. Even if they didn't get up to what they did, this is not going to help your child. This is stupidity. How these clinicians and doctors who sign off on this shit sleep at night, I don't know. Truly don't. And let's talk about this other one, shall we? Autism, ADHD, Down syndrome, Angelman syndrome. These different neurodevelopmental disabilities that the JRC treats are not behavioral disorders. They are mental disabilities. The behaviors that come out of us are a byproduct. They're not a cause in and of themselves. What one should be doing is finding out what's triggering the behaviors. Because no, you morons, it is not the same trigger in every kid. What the hell is wrong with you? The triggers of what's causing these behaviors are as different as each individual kid that's there and how their disability or mental health affects them. This is why treatment should always be catered specifically to that specific patient. What are they having issues with? What is causing the behaviors? What is the root cause? That's it. It's that simple. And if you want to know how could we get to the triggering issues, they don't talk. You're not like my child. Shut up. Here's the thing. I don't try to speak for nonverbals. I don't understand in its entirety how their disability affects them. But here's the difference between me and Matthew Israel. I can admit that. I can admit that. And I am more like your child than you will ever be. Ever be. Matter of fact is, folks, even nonverbals, when given the opportunity and the assistive devices and the means to be able to do so, can tell you with much self-analyzation what they believe are triggering the behaviors. I know this because old friend Renee could tell you what was triggering the behaviors. You can't cookie cutter this shit because you're not actually doing anything if you do. You're treating someone for an illness they don't have. That's literally what this is. When you call these disabilities behavioral disorders, when you believe that clearly, long ago, proven incorrect thesis there, when you are trying to treat them with behavioral psychology for something that is not behavioral, it's neuro, it's in the brain, you are treating them for something that they probably don't have. Is there any surprise that it doesn't work? Any surprise at all? This is why ABA will never work. Because it's operating off the same false premise that the JRC is. You can't group everyone with diagnoses together in a big ball, throw something at them, and expect them to get better. It's not how it works. At least it's lazy. At the very least, lazy. At most, it just furthers the trauma we already have that was causing the behaviors in the first damn place. I'm going to close out on that because I can't deal with this level of stupid. We don't get very many views on this channel. The few that we do get do tend to get removed from time to time. So please don't forget to hit the like button, hit subscribe, and don't forget to hit the comments. I do appreciate your time this morning. And as always, we hope you have a good one. I can't stop myself. Dr. Israel. What the fuck? These diagnoses are not all the same. Not all of these are behavioral disorders. Developmental disabilities and mental health issues are not the same. You cannot treat them all under the same treatment program and expect it to work. Not really. Not truly. Something you've admitted to when you tell us what happens, and then all of a sudden the behaviors are worse than ever before when we take them off to this device. How horrible are you? No, how horrible are you, doctor? How set in your ways? How so old school that you cannot change your mind to new facts, new ideas, new research? Jesus Christ. I do appreciate your time. As always, we hope you have a good one. Bye-bye. Freaking. Ugh. The hell is wrong with these people?